people will join.
Let in, they're arriving thick and fast all of a sudden.
Okay. Prompt.
There we go. You're not seeing that little square anywhere on the screen, are you? It's not blocking anything. Good, great. Okay. Thanks for joining us, everyone, today. My name is Tor Walton. My role at the university is relationship manager between your organisation and the university, so sort of overarching view of how all apprentices are doing. And I'm going to hand you over now to Karen Squire, who's our academic mentor manager, whose team specialise in this mentoring and support piece around the senior leader degree apprenticeship.
Thanks for that, Tor. Good morning, everybody. Yes, as Tor said, my name's Karen Squire, and welcome to this overview of the role of the workplace mentor in the senior leader apprenticeship. As Tor said, I am the academic mentor manager here within the business school. So I have this overview of the work-based learning element of our apprenticeship programs. And I will be guiding through this presentation today. I manage our team of mentors, but I also have overview of the whole work-based learning element of the apprenticeship. So during this short presentation today, I'll be giving you an overview of the Senior Leader Master's Degree Apprenticeship Programme and the academic team that surround each apprentice. I will briefly explain to you how the degree apprenticeships can create this positive organisational impact. And then finally, I'm going to explore with you the workplace mentor role. Please feel free to put any questions in the chat. Tor will be keeping an eye on that for me. So if there's any questions that come as I'm going through the programme, then she can ask. And also there'll be a time at the end for any questions as well. So when discussing this programme, I always like to start with the end in mind. So at the end of the 2-year journey with us, the apprentice 2-year journey, they will have not only achieved their senior leader master's degree apprenticeship, but this will include a number of components. So it will include the world-renowned extra MBA. We'll also give the apprentices chartered manager or chartered fellow professional recognition, along with a level 7 qualification, which in this instance is the Chartered Managers Institute Diploma in Strategic Management and Leadership Practice. So a degree apprenticeship is essentially an employer-led programme where the apprentice works in a job role that is combined with formal training that meets approved national standards. So throughout this apprenticeship, the apprentices work towards achieving predefined knowledge, skills and behaviours that are applicable for each specific degree apprenticeship. By law, apprentices will be offered 20% off the job training, and this time is typically spent accessing the curriculum offered by the HE provider, which is us, University of Exeter, alongside gaining work-based experience that they can evidence through a portfolio of work. I'm going to talk a little bit more about 20% off the job training as we go through this presentation. So in a nutshell, the apprentices training is provided by the HE provider, that's us, and the workplace, that's you. And the apprentices will work towards achieving these apprenticeship standards through combining taught content with learning and crucially applying in the workplace with a specific focus on these predefined standards that are applicable to the Senior Leader Master's Degree Apprenticeship. So this slide here shows you the work-based learning part of the programme. So alongside the MBA, your apprentice will be developing a portfolio of evidence which demonstrates the skills, knowledge and behaviours that they have learnt during this apprenticeship. At the university, we embed these standards into our learning with the aim of providing a fluid programme where the academic and the workplace learning becomes one. So if we just have a look at the screen, we're starting on my left-hand side. So they're on their programme. So they will be developing their portfolio of evidence alongside studying for their MBA. And then towards the end of the programme, they will be participating in a work-based project Once they've achieved that 2-year program, they will go to the gateway, which means that they've successfully completed their MBA. They've completed their portfolio, they've completed their workplace project. If they need to do maths and English at level 2, which is GCSE level, then we will support them with that. They will then go through to an endpoint assessment, which is where they will be independently assessed. So this is nothing to do with the university. Our endpoint assessment organisation are the Chartered Managers Institute. They will go through that. They will present their project, and then they will have a 90-minute or so professional discussion, which will be based on this portfolio of evidence. The work-based project, as I said, it's towards the end. They start at the end of year 1, continue end of year 2, and it's basically based around a problem, issue, or opportunity within your organisation. And this is one of the areas that you can actually support your apprentice. I'm sure you'll have a great project idea in your mind, and you can work with them to think about a suitable project. So as I've said, the learning happens both in the workplace and it's the context where we make sense of what's taught in academia. So the education team are facilitating the learning and development process, but what they really want to do is help the apprentice create this impact and add value as they teach. So it's about, the way we talk about it is putting knowledge to work, and then we look at the art of weaving this learning into their professional practice, resulting in not only an increase in both professional and organizational capability, but also personal confidence and an increase in interpersonal skills. We've just gone through the very first full cycle of senior leader master's degree apprenticeships. Our first group have gone through their endpoint assessment successfully. And what they've really shared afterwards was the impact that they've had within their organization. And this just does, I'm sure you've already seen this, happens right from the start, as they're already starting from the very beginning to think strategically. And that's what we're looking to see. So we think about the managerial mindset, because on this occasion, the apprentice has 2 roles. They're both a manager and they're a student. So the aim of this program is to support the apprentice with scoping. So that's understanding what's on the horizon, both in an academic and organizational capacity, and then learning, which is engaging with these new ideas and maybe unlearning what they've previously thought of as their knowledge. And then being reflective. That's a really important part of our program, being able to ask critical questions, being able to look for the meaning, and being able to look at something that they have done and be reflective and maybe think about how they could do something differently in the future. So that's what we embed all the way through our program. So just to give you a little bit more detail around the actual senior leader degree apprenticeship. So the program consists of 6 modules, 3 in the first year and 3 in the second year. And as you can see, we have these 2 work-based modules in green. The first one is analysing strategic context. So that's when we'll be looking at launching the project and discussing some of the project management concepts and strategic theories around that to help the apprentice to think about a really suitable project that can make impact within their organization. And then the second module then looks at the impact and innovation that the project has delivered in the workplace. All modules generally have 2 forms of assessment. One is this traditional academic assignment, while the other focuses more on professional practice to apply learning and demonstrate understanding. And as I've said, all the way through this, they will be also working on their e-portfolio as well, which will be looking at how they are using that knowledge. So when we think about the opportunities for impact within your organization, as I've said, they can bring their learning into the workplace straight away and share with other members of their team, and it obviously will help them focus on how they can show this learning in their workplace and how they can create that impact. Also then being able to look at projects, being able to create that, add that value to their organization. They'll be able to work across more teams, departments and functions, and have that additional thinking capacity. Whilst also, as I've said, being able to put their learning into context and being able to reflect on what they can do differently and better as they go through that program. Just before I continue, are there any questions so far? Anything that's come up in the chat tool?
Yes, one, but I was actually just replying to, I'm just having a look at the calendar so that I can tell Rachel and everyone when the work-based project starts. So I will drop that in the chat in a second.
Thank you. So the academic team around the apprentice, for the apprentice journey to be successful, they have to have a robust support structure. So as a higher education provider, we deliver the theoretical context, and here the apprentices are supported by a team of module leads, program administrators and cohort leads. So the cohort leads tend to look at the pastoral aspect of the program with the apprentice, and then the module leads are specialists in each individual module. The apprentice is also supported by two really important people who stay with the apprentice generally throughout the program: the academic mentor and the workplace mentor. And the two of you will then offer continuous support to the apprentice through the whole apprenticeship, each from your own perspective. And I'm going to talk about this in a little more detail in just a second. So as a University of Exeter student, the apprentice will be offered all the above support, and this includes welfare and wellbeing services, details of which are on our senior leader induction pages. But obviously we do understand that within your organisations, you have that facility as well often. It's all held on our Exeter Learning Environment, or ELE, and this is used throughout the university to provide an online focus for courses, and is an online area where all the module content and resources are held along a wide variety of other tools. And there's also forums there as well, where the apprentices can communicate with each other as well. So as well as delivering these learning materials, ELE also offers opportunities for interaction with tutors and other participants. And our fantastic library team can offer support with technological learning, and of course also support with obtaining reading materials, both hard copy and online. So a little bit about the academic mentor. So the academic mentor, they hold a pivotal role in the degree apprenticeship, and each apprentice is allocated a dedicated academic mentors. And they take this PAN programme overview, looking holistically at the progress of each apprentice. They will undertake tripartite reviews 3 or 4 times a year. And through these reviews, that means they'll have regular access to you, the employer, and the apprentice, meaning that the frequency of these visits ensure that any live workplace problems that occur can feature in the educational journey of the apprentice. The academic and professional progress is also monitored and recorded, and that's through our system OneFile, our e-portfolio, that I will touch upon in just a moment. One of the academic mentor's main tasks is to support the apprentice with the construction and building of the e-portfolio. And they will support the apprentice through offering guidance, then following up on the design and the progression of the final work-based project. The e-portfolio and the project will be the key ingredients that will indicate whether the apprentice has effectively achieved those knowledge, skills and behaviours. And at the endpoint assessment interview, they will be assessed on those outcomes. And as I've said, they will lead and conduct the tripartite reviews and be that main point of contact between the apprentice and the university throughout the programme. However, the line manager or workplace mentor are also really crucial. They may or may not be the same, and this is where you come in to really help the apprentice achieve all elements of their programme. So just a little thought about the Chartered Managers Institute and what they say about mentoring. So I'll just let you read that for a second. So as you can see from the slide, the Charters Managers Institute define mentoring as a relationship in which one person, the mentor, who is usually more experienced and often more senior, supports the other, who's the learner or the mentee, with this regular guidance, feedback and confidential discussion, so that he or she will be more self-aware, knowledgeable and confident and develop their potential and capability. So how does being a mentor to an apprentice translate into the workplace? As a mentor, your primary overall responsibility is really to help the apprentice understand their role within the organisation and support them into effectively achieving the knowledge, skills and behaviours that are laid out in the apprenticeship standards. As I've said, a lot of the apprentices learning happens in the workplace, and during the term of an apprenticeship, all of these standards will need to be covered. As a workplace mentor, you're the point of contact for the apprentice with regard to work-related themes, whether they're opportunities or challenges. And you can also provide that pastoral care if needed. Very often, apprentices will opt for their direct line managers to be their mentor. However, it's not always the case. And as a workplace mentor, it's really important that you have an overview of the apprentice's work requirements and will also be aware of their academic progression. And as I've said, this progression will be tracked through the tripartite reviews. As a workplace mentor, you'll support your apprentices in, I guess, finding answers to the questions or challenges that they may have. And you'll be able to offer that first-hand work experience and understanding of the workplace that will be so beneficial to the apprentice throughout their apprenticeship. So if I think about the role of the workplace mentor in practice. So the first thing that it's really helpful is to meet with your apprentice on a regular basis to discuss the progress on their apprenticeship. Now, this is something that's not mandated in terms of time. However, generally, if you meet with them about once a month, just to have a purely apprenticeship meeting, then that should be enough. The other thing that's really useful for you to do is to review the evidence locator document with your apprentice. They will have this, and this is really crucial document as it shows what evidence needs to be collected by the apprentice over the course of the program. So when you look at that with them, you'll be able to, and they will be able to immediately know what outcomes they cover all day long. But there will also be some other areas that they might not cover. Something that's worth noticing is apprentices are often really hard upon themselves and they don't realize how they are already meeting some of these knowledge, skills and behaviors. So that's where, again, your critical eye can come into place, because you can actually say, actually, you do that. The other thing that's really useful for you to do during the course of the program is enable your apprentice to be exposed to activities that they would not normally be. So, for example, take on an additional area of responsibility, maybe something like procurement if they don't currently cover that. Maybe lead a project, maybe attend board meetings on your behalf. And identifying these development opportunities in the workplace will be an area where you can really help. Sometimes they might not have the necessary exposure within their role to develop against the knowledge, skills and behaviour, and providing that opportunity can be really useful. But I also know that sometimes that takes a bit of time. So it might be that you identify that they might need to have some more exposure to finance, and it doesn't necessarily have to happen now, but it might be something that you think about as they develop. Another area that can be really helpful, and you'll be asked, is to support them achieving this assessment criteria. So this could be through a witness testimony, for example. And this is an excellent instrument where confidentiality can be an issue, or it's a way of supporting something that the apprentice has done but can't actually evidence. So writing this witness testimony saying, I have seen them achieve this criteria by doing this, is a way of not having to put in, again, if I use finance as an example, again, not having to put in some sensitive financial information that you might not want to share, but then you can say, actually, I know that they successfully run a budget, for example. The other way that you'll be asked and will be really useful to help is provide 360-degree feedback that demonstrates the behaviour criteria. That's really useful. I think that the apprentices have been asked to do this right at the beginning of their programme, or certainly 180 feedback, and then coming back to review it at the end, and hopefully we'll see that lovely progression where they've been able to learn so much more and then demonstrate that learning. The other way that you can really help is to ensure your apprentice receive their 20% off the job training as well, which they have to track. So there are common issues that we've seen that have come through that have arisen during tri-part meetings that we've already undertaken, generally around time management. Embarking on a degree apprenticeship is very demanding on the apprentice's time. So tracking progress will help that this doesn't become an issue that gets out of control. And the academic mentor will be able to provide guidance on this. And it's these workload demands that makes it difficult for apprentices to ensure they get their 20% off the job training allowance. So I suppose it's having those conversations. Now, these are senior leaders, so we would expect them to manage their time independently, but I guess it's maybe having those discussions around maybe planning for a deputy to take over responsibility when the apprentice is away from their desk, for example. I will touch on other ways of achieving 20% off the job training towards the end of the presentation. So tripartite meetings, they regularly take place through the apprentice journey. And this is where the apprentice, the workplace mentor, and the or line manager and the academic mentor meet. As I've said, the number of meetings will vary, but it's generally 3 or 4 per academic year. And it's the opportunity for all 3 parties to touch base and ensure that the apprentice is on track. And if necessary, identify any extra support that needs to be provided in them achieving the knowledge, skills and behaviours as specified. And what tends to happen after the first meeting, the academic mentor and the apprentice the meetings usually run for about an hour. The academic mentor and the apprentice will meet, they will discuss progress. The academic mentor will work with the apprentice on setting targets. And then you as a workplace mentor come into the meeting maybe for the last 20 minutes or so. And then you will be given a summary of the meeting and be able to discuss any questions that you might have, but also understand where the targets are going and how you can support with that. So the objective of the tripartite meeting, as I've said, to discuss the progress and for the academic mentor to work with the apprentice to build their e-portfolio by assisting them with identifying evidence of application in the workplace. So they'll be working with the apprentice to support them with this and be able to look at how they've implemented the knowledge and what they've learned, as well as the behaviours. As I've said, towards the second year, the academic mentor will be offering guidance on the design and progression of the work-based project. And as I've said, the e-portfolio and work-based project will be these key ingredients, whether that indicate whether the apprentice has achieved those knowledge, skills and behaviours. And that's what they're going to be assessed upon in the endpoint assessment. As I've said, they will use the meeting to track progress. Again, this will be done on one file and they'll be able to, because that's a system that the apprentice will use to record their learning and build their e-portfolio. As a workplace mentor line manager, you will actually have opportunity to access one file. You should have been sent a one file login. If you haven't, then you can either pop that in the chat and we can pick that up with the admin team. And then you can have, we call it observer access, to have a look. The other area of the discussion will be to identify if there are any academic issues or if there are further learning requirements, and provide that support or signposting. And part of this discussion, any one of the 3 of you can highlight areas that might offer further opportunities for development. You'll be expected to then validate the apprentice progress to date and provide the apprentice with your view on their abilities and qualities, and that will help with them deal with where they're going in the workplace as well. And then at the end of the meeting, all three of you will sign off the meeting in one file to show that progress. So as I've said, 20% off the job training is the rule set by the Skills Funding Agency, which states that the apprentice should spend at least 20% of their apprenticeship on learning and developing. And the reason for this is to ensure that a quality programme is delivered by both yourselves and us, which adds value to the apprentice. And this will benefit not only them, but of course yourselves, who will end up with this well-rounded senior leader at the end of the apprentice. And this provides the time to focus and develop the required skills, knowledge and behaviours to achieve the apprenticeship. And there are lots of activities that can contribute to off-the-job training. The key point to remember is that it must be relevant to the apprentice. And on the next slide, I'll just show you some of the areas that can be covered. So that, as you can see, there are a wide variety of situations where you can support the apprentice achieving their 20% off the job training. For example, job shadowing or mentoring or attending meetings, working on projects. When they attend masterclasses, now virtually attend masterclasses here at the university, that is all part of their 20% off the job as well. So it's, I suppose, the rule of thumb that I always use when I think about 20% is, can the apprentice reflect on this activity as a learning experience that helps them to work towards their senior leader, becoming a senior leader or being a better senior leader? So anything that can help them do that is what we class as 20% off the job training. Oh, just bear with me. There we go. So that's the end of my whistle-stop tour, really, of the role of the workplace mentor, and some of the points some of the questions that you might have. But now is your opportunity to ask me any questions that you might have around your role or anything else. Tor, I don't know if there's anything that's appeared in the chat while I've been chatting.
No, some one file login queries, and yes, we will send out the slide deck and the recording so that you can refer back to this at any point.
Any other questions? Please feel free to speak. I might stop sharing actually so I can see you.
There's one question about, is there anything to complete online at this stage?
Nope.
Not yet.
Not yet, no.
Is there anywhere that we can see the syllabus of what the learner is going to learn each time, so that those of us who are mentoring can help them suggest relevant reading or relevant areas in our organisation, because we've also seen that course material?
Yes, there's a module handbook that talks about the modules in a bit more detail, and there's also this evidence locator document. So the two pieces which the apprentice has access to, the evidence locator document covers all of the knowledge, skills, behaviours that I've talked about. So that's a really useful document for you to have oversight of, because that will see exactly as you said where you can direct them to. For example, off the top of my head, CSR is included in that, so you can kind of help direct them to that. So that's the evidence locator document, which they can have and share with you, as well as the module guides. They're on, if they look a bit vague when you mention that, they're all on Ellie under the guides, and the academics and ourselves can help them with that. There's so much that they have to kind of learn and immerse themselves in at the beginning.
James has put, if we have concerns about our apprentices' understanding of the needs or requirements of the course as we progress, who should we speak to for guidance?
So the academic mentor is the the representative, if you like, from the university, so you can speak to them, and then they can direct you to any particular area. So if it's a question particularly around the academic area of the course, then they can signpost you. The other way you can contact people is through the degree admin team, and again, they can signpost you to the right person. So, but generally academic mentors are the person that you will meet with, but if not, the admin team. Any other questions at this time? I always take that as a positive, whether I should or not. So as Tor said, we will send out the slides, and you know, please feel free to contact me at any point through the admin team if you don't have my details. And actually I might just pop them in the chat whilst I'm finishing talking, and then you can contact me if you wish to. So I'm Squire@exeter.ac.uk. If there are no more questions, I will leave you to get on with your day. I know time is precious, so it's been nice to virtually see you. Maybe one day we'll actually meet face to face. In the meantime, have a good day.
Thanks very much, Karen.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.